Hey guys, welcome to today's video and welcome to my mirror. This is the mirror that I keep in the living room for years. This is the one that I used to, I had hidden behind the sofa and I'd pull it out while I was watching TV and tweeze my brows. Those days are long gone, but I keep it in there out of a habit. And sometimes at night, before I wash my face, I might bring in a handful of brushes and a palette and play. And that's what I did last night, and that's kind of why I'm here. So I'm waiting for the Pat McGrath Utopia palette to come to Sephora, because when she did her blushes recently, it was insane how long it took. It took 10 days for the blushes to get to me. And I sent them back immediately because I went to my neighborhood Sephora. It's not in a mall, so they get things later than everybody else. If they had the blushes, they said, well, we do, but we don't have a place to put them, so we're in the back, but we can sell them to you. So I didn't feel like doing that whole anxiety thing for me, anyway, of ordering from Pat McGrath's site and waiting for 10 days to get something. So I'm just patiently waiting. Then I decided I was going to pull out my Divine Rose 2 palette and see if I could make a look out of this, because I never use this. Never. Now you can look in the mirror, hopefully, and see that this one is green. Now you're not going to see the reflection. Okay, there. I don't like that. It's too dark. It's just too hard for me. But overall, the palette is quite nice, and I managed to put together a very pretty look in anticipation of the Utopia coming out, and I thought I'd share it with you. And I'm doing it differently than I usually do, and I cannot tell you what a huge difference it makes to have this mirror here instead of holding a mirror in my hand, because I'm going to pull everything taut when I'm putting on my shadows. It's a miracle. So this is a Sigma. It is a synthetic. This is a travel size. When you're putting makeup on yourself, shorter handles, not a bad thing, especially if you're blind and you're always hitting your mirror with your handle. So let's get into it, you guys. This is both a tutorial and a look. I'm picking up this, and these are a little dusty, so I'm taking off on my hand, and I should not be wearing white. I cannot believe how much just came off. Okay, here's what I'm doing. I am going to just pull the lid so it's taut. I'm not using a lot of strength, but pulling that lid, and hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. This mirror is so old that it's kind of looking into it. It's a little bit weird. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's a good size. And I'm just kind of doing everything here. So I'm giving myself a little bit of shape, whatever's left on the lid, and now I'm just going to release and look over here and look at this mirror. Yes, 3 mirrors. Yeah, to see what's going on. Now I did prime my lids, you guys, with something different. So the Makeup by Mario is the one that I have, but I've been taking this Clé de Peau. I mean, when I say been taking, I did it yesterday, and I'm like, oh, I really like this. I do have some darkness here from skin damage and wrinkles that are developing, and I just want to hit this really lightly with that color, and I definitely want to stretch out for that so I can get this in those wrinkles. And then I'm going to take my powder brush, whatever powder I have left in this, because I just did this to my lids. This is a beautiful, beautiful primer. Other side. I'm just going to tuck this collar under, which will accomplish 2 things. Hopefully I won't get makeup on my collar, and a little more air will come in. So there we go. Just kind of all over the place, giving myself a little bit of shape. Now I'm taking this, my Kitco brush, which is so genius and so helpful, especially if you're hooded, and I'm going in with this one. Wiping my hands to make sure there's nothing on them since I'm doing so much face touching. And again, just going to kind of pull this taut a little bit, and I'm doing a little bit of creasy weasy, basically outer third. A little bit of a V, and over the eyeball, right by the lash line. And then before I give that V shape, I want to open the eye and see what's going on. So you really can't see it when the eye's completely open, but it is giving me a little bit of depth. But I think I want to pull it out the teeniest bit. So another mirror, and right now it's kind of going like this. I'm going to pull it out a little bit like this. These mirrors have two different strengths. And then continue to blend this area. Now I'm going to wipe off this brush. On my table, you guys, is a beach towel. All my makeup's on top of it. It's filthy. It starts really clean and then over time, filthy, filthy. And I hate to wash it because I have to take everything off my table. But yeah, I do, of course. I'm just going to take this and very softly, back and forth, back and forth. Just want to diffuse any hard lines. But I'm diffusing without moving that color up. That's why a smaller brush is so good for this. It's not too fluffy, but it's not, you know, it has some density to it, but it's not too dense either. And now I've given myself a little bit of an almond shape, going to the next eye. And when you think you have the pigment that you need on, instead of blending it and blending it and blending it, clean your brush. And now I'm going to be blending some more. I'm looking from eye to eye, trying to make them even. Very few people have completely symmetrical eyes, and I feel like I need to blend a little bit more here. I do have these wrinkles developing over here, and on this side I have the protruding tear gland. So certainly there are challenges for most of us. And more blending when the eye is open, because usually our eyes are open. And that's what matters the most, is not this, oh my eyes, look how great, but when someone is looking at you. Now I'm going to take a flat brush and I'm going in with this, and then I'm going to put this on top of it. So this, and then this. This is almost a topper shade, but not quite. And this is the Hakuhodo J242. Now if you want to, you could spray this, get the brush wet after dipping in, and have something more shiny, more reflective, more bada-boom. But I don't want bada boom. I cleaned off that brush and now I'm going in with this one. And now this more sparkly shade. This kind of takes down of the yellow a little bit, but not too much. And now I'm going to bring in some of this pink. I'm going back here with the My Kitco and going in with this one. And this has a sheen to it. It feels like it's a satin. And I'm going to run it around that same area as the darker color, just to bring in some of the pink, and then pulling it down a little bit so it's visible. A haze of it will be visible when the eyes open. I'm going to do the other side and then I'll come back and blend. She just woke up. It's 11:30. She sleeps a lot. Now I'm going to take my Ray Morris brush and just do some blending. And I mentioned this in another video recently. Instead of just going vroom, 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 really take a look like a painter would look at their canvas. What do I want to happen here? Because you are the master of your design. It doesn't really need all that much blending. I think I placed it so well. I don't want to bring it up too high. And that first color is still available to you. I see tons of just sparkles on my face. And because I have so much more light on this side than on this side, my eyes are uneven the whole bit, I want to look in this mirror to see what we're doing. And I think I could bring it up a little bit higher, so a little peekaboo of color. I'm going to go in with this. I did try this yesterday, and I don't know why I came to the conclusion the other way around, but I'm going to put that in. I'm going to leave a little bit of the gold right there, just, you know, an eighth of the eye, and then go in with this shade. Go in with the blender brush because it's not working too well on Ello Crepey Lido. So it's not all gold lid, there's a little bit of pinkness there. Wow, my under eyes. They need a little help. Now, I'm going to take my other Hakuhodo. This is the 150S. Brilliant. And I'm going in with this dark shade again, and I'm going to do a little by the lash line. Now, when you're hooded, using powders by the lash line, never really a good idea because it'll just transfer right up here. So I'm just doing a little bit. Emphasizing at the edge, the outer edge. But it's a little bit more than I wanted, so before I open the eye, I'm just going to dust off any excess. And bring it in the other mirror again. I'm going to go back in with that dark color and just do a little more of this V situation so it's more impressive to you, the viewer. And again, stretch out that skin so I can get a really nice blend and just buffing. I'm not being rough with the skin, but I am stretching it. And you know what? I see professional makeup artists do variations of stretching the skin all the time. When they're doing makeup, I'll see Lisa Eldridge take her thumb and pull up. Because there's a lot of skin here, and there's a lot of crepiness. I am still having problems right in this area though. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to put on a little bit of mascara, and then I don't know, do I want a lip with some color to it, or do I want more of a reddish lippy kind of color, a neutral lippy kind of color, or bright pink? Inquiring minds want to know. But first, mascara. This is Pat McGrath Amour, and I think I'll do it in this mirror. It's bright. I'm going to go in with a lip pencil and work that in. I love this liner. It's from Charlotte Tilbury because you can kind of go back and forth. It's squared off. Whoops, making the list bigger accidentally. Now I know a lot of people would go in with a liner, but I think I'm going to leave it kind of diffused, and I like that smoky lip. That's not the word for it, but when it's not super, super defined at the edges, there's a fine line, though, between looking sloppy. And you guys, that's it. This is just a new way for me to put on makeup. And I have to say, when I did it last night, and even when I did it just now, it's so much easier to have a mirror right here so I can use my hands to stretch out the skin and get the color, the pigmentation into the crepey canyons, let's call them, and the wrinkle canyons where I can. Like right here, it's very hard. I don't know why. But it just makes everything look so much nicer, and it's so much faster. The under eyes definitely need a little attention. And that Clé de Peau, I'm really liking this as a base. Now I didn't try this without it first, so I don't know if it's just my new technique that's making things so much easier or if this is helping. But just a little, you know, you just do a little rubby-dubby, boop, 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 warm it up a little bit, tap it on. You're probably not going to use this whole thing, so get some on the other eye, and then powder it so it's completely smooth and it's not going to grab on. I've tried many bases, I mean not tons, but I've tried several of them, and I don't understand the benefit of having something sticky on your eyes, especially if you have crepiness or a lot of flesh, because color will just bunch up. It just doesn't make any sense to me, but I know it works for some people. And you guys, that is it. This is the Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2, and I used many of the colors. Boom, 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 boom. And this is the look I got. And I think it's kind of usable for every day. You could certainly not go for the gold maybe for an everyday look, but I think it's workable. And my friends, that is it. Let me know below if this is helpful. I would love for you guys to try this at home if you are also hooded and crepey, and what your experience might be. Again, you're not being too rough, but you're keeping it taut enough with a gentle hand so you can get these things in and spend less time doing your eye makeup and maybe even get a better outcome. I'd love to see if this works for you as well, but I'm kind of excited about it. There's a very good chance you're going to be seeing this mirror in the shot a lot more in the future. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, please be safe, be smart, and I'm wishing you good health.